So you saw on the earlier slide that all classes of medical devices are regulated by and require a license, right? So for example, you need a license for import, you need license for manufacture, sale and distribution, either by wholesale or retail. What you don't need a license for in India is to transport a medical device from one place to another. In countries outside, some countries require you to have GDP certificate even for transportation. That's not the case in India. We also don't need a license for export, right? So if you're exporting something from India, a license as such is not required, but you still need a license to manufacture it for export. So let's say you have manufactured something in India for domestic consumption and you want to now export that outside India. That's not something that is possible. When you want to export something, then the license has to be taken specifically for manufacturing that product for export purposes. So that's how the Indian regulator controls which products can be exported or not exported. There are certain additional compliance requirements when products leave the Indian port in terms of undertakings and so on and so forth that need to be filed. But that's something that is with the customs department. It's not something that is covered with the medical in the medical device law. Since we are on this slide, I would like to spend some time in understanding what is in explaining what is wholesale and what is retail, because again these are business terms which are used frequently in India and are also reflected in the law. This may not be used as frequently around the world. So anything which is basically B2B business, which is business to business dealings, are wholesale dealings. If a product is going to be is not going to be sold or to the end consumer or received by the end consumer, that dealing is a wholesale dealing. If a product is sold to the end consumer, and that end consumer could be anybody, it could also be a hospital, then that is covered, that could be covered by a retail license, right? So it also depends on why the hospital or why that end consumer is going to purchase that medical device. Is it going to be to sell further, or is it not going to be to sell further? So if we are selling it B2B, which is for a business to sell it further, let's say to even to an end consumer or to another business, that entity is called a wholesale entity. If I'm going to sell, if that entity is going to sell it to an end consumer, who's going to consume the product, that a transaction is called as a retail transaction, and both transactions require separate licenses. Yeah, so let's look at if these are the licenses which are required, what has changed in the medical device rules of 2020. Okay, so there is now an expectation that every manufacturer and importer of medical device will get a license, but the industry has received a grace period to get those licenses. 37 categories of medical devices which were regulated. The February amendment introduced a new definition which was effective from April 1, which said that all devices which are covered by that definition that we saw will get regulated. But that did not mean that you had an immediate requirement to get that license. The law also said that you can take your time to get the license, and we will get into why the law gave time, or the government gave time for companies to get the license, but there was time. So today, if you are a regulated medical device, you don't necessarily have to do business under a license. There is still a grace period that has been given to medical device companies to obtain that license. Now the grace period depends and varies as per the risk classification, and that's something that we are seeing on our presentation slide in front of us. So for class A and class B medical devices, we have August 11, 2022 as a due date to obtain. When I say dealing in, I mean For manufacturing and import licenses, the due date is August 11, 2022. On the previous slides, we saw how much time it takes to get those licenses, which is 9 months for import, and for manufacturing, we have 45 days for Class A and around 140 days for Class B. So we need to account for that timeline and meet this deadline of August 11, 2022. So that after August 11, we operate and we do business only under a license. If we don't have a license by this timeline, then there is a problem. Something similar has been prescribed for Class C and Class D. Of course, more time has been given. This perhaps could also, the difference in time could also be because more data is required to be submitted when it is Class C and Class C devices. This is something that we saw in the earlier presentation slide. Okay. Now, similar requirements exist. Similar requirement exists for supply chain as well. You will see that the same timeline has been prescribed for all types of dealings in medical devices, which is manufacturing, import license, wholesale and retail license. So August 11, 2022 is the due date by which a medical device company whose products fall under Class A and Class B must obtain a license. Let me also spend some time in what is a more immediate requirement for companies whose products were not previously regulated. So they were not one of those 37 devices that we saw, but they got regulated after this. Just excuse me. Right. Right. The government has imposed an additional registration requirement for all manufacturers and importers of medical devices. This is something which has been put in place specifically to bring medical device manufacturers and importers into the net of regulation. So today, the Indian government does not know what kind of devices will be covered by that definition that it introduced in February of 2020. If it had that list handy, it would have notified that list. So because it sort of opened up a net to cover every device, this requirement has been put in specifically by the government in our assessment to understand and evaluate which are the devices that are currently sold in the Indian market. Now, what the government expects is that all manufacturers and importers of devices which were previously unregulated will get themselves registered by October 1 of 2021. The documents that need to be submitted to the government in order to get registration, we will come to a little later. But the expectation is that everybody must be registered with them, so they have a fair idea of what sort of licenses and what sort of registrations they will have to issue by next year, which is August of 2022, and for Class C and Class D by August of 2023. So this registration requirement is an additional requirement on top of the license requirement that we saw. Once a company gets a license, then the registration has no meaning. So this registration perhaps is only, let's say, a stopgap arrangement till the government, till the industry starts applying for and starts obtaining its licenses. The registration must not, this additional registration must not be confused with medical device registration as it is understood in other jurisdictions. This is not in a very strict sense issuance of what is called as a marketing authorization. This is not that sort of a registration. This is a very simple record keeping exercise that has been started by the government to understand which companies are doing business in India, and the reflection of that, and you will see this on bullet number 4, is that this process is very straightforward, and the registration number is is generated instantaneously. So as I said, I will discuss which documents are required in order to get the registration. These documents are on your screen. You have to provide what information about your device in terms of specification, standards, and details. There is a requirement to submit a certificate of compliance with ISO 13485. The only condition being that it should be from a notified or a certification body which is covered under, let's say, the Indian National Accreditation Board for certification bodies or the International Accreditation Forum, which are two bodies which recognize certification bodies. So a certificate, ISO 13485 certificate has to be given, and a free sale certificate showing that the product which is sought to be imported, in case of imported products, is actually sold in the country of export. So these are the documents that are required to be submitted. Now, why do I say that this is only a record keeping exercise? Because the government, the regulator, is not going to review these products. The moment a submission is made, a file number is generated, and that file number is your registration number. The government has put in place a provision which says that whatever document is submitted should be true and accurate. And that is because it is not going to review the document. This is only, let's say, an exercise to create a record of which manufacturers and which importers and which devices are being sold in India. So that's the understanding. Do note, however, that if we obtain the registration number immediately, let's say an application is made tomorrow, if we have the preparation for it, then our labeling will have to change, and the labeling will have to carry out the registration number, right? So October 1st, 2021 is the timeline for by which we have to obtain this additional registration as we understand it. After that, because it is mandatory to obtain the registration, we will have to mention the registration number on all devices that are manufactured or imported into India. That's not an option, right? So after that, because registration becomes mandatory, you have to, but even today you have an option to obtain this registration. But the catch is that if you obtain the registration, then the expectation is that you will start mentioning the registration number on the medical device. This requirement is not being strictly enforced today in India, but you never know. This is what the language of the law is. So even before, if you obtain a registration number, the expectation is that the registration number will be displayed on the label even before October 2021, if the registration is in place. Post October 2021, at the risk of repeating myself, I'm saying this: post October 2021, this registration number has to mandatorily be displayed on all medical devices. We prepared a slide. It's a little busy, but we wanted all content to be on the same slide. The immediate impact is that we will have to, for products that qualify as medical devices, ensure that we have a certification, an ISO 13485 certification for our manufacturing process. This is a quality certification, and the regulatory team will be fairly aware of what the ISO 13485 is. The thing to ensure while we obtain this certification, if it does not already exist, is that it should be from a recognized certification body. And when I say recognized, I mean it is either something which is recognized by Indian government under the NABCB, National Accreditation Board for Certification Bodies, or internationally by International Accreditation Forum. There are several certification bodies in India who are pitching and offering ISO 13485 today. Those companies, if there are hardly 11 or 12 companies which are associated with NABCB in India. So please make sure that you don't go to anybody who is not accredited, who is not enrolled with bodies that the Indian law requires certification from. So that's something that is to be kept in mind. Now, our registration is dependent, this additional registration that we looked at along with the licenses, which is to be obtained by October 1, 2021, is dependent on ISO 13485 being there. So it certainly needs to be obtained before October 2021, not on that day. And it's going to take some time to put together the quality documents to obtain ISO 13485. So it's not an overnight job that needs to be done. We are, of course, we are preparing well in advance. We are in August of 2020 and we are discussing this compliance. We are confident that ISO 13485 compliance will be met, if not already met, but this is something that we felt should be discussed. Goes without, the second bullet on the presentation is about registering the medical devices by October 1 of 2021. This is something that we've discussed at length. Of course, obtaining relevant licenses, we discussed we will fall either in Class A or Class B, which does not materially change the regulatory impact from the nature of licenses that we need to obtain. We need to ensure that we have all the licenses by August 11 of 2022. So this preparation needs to begin in advance. Once you have the licenses, there is going to be a requirement to put products in the market with the right sort of declarations and so on and so forth. So that also as a process will take time. So the sooner the preparation begins, the better. Just a couple of things to remember. If it does not have a manufacturing or wholesale license, so if, let's say, there is a trading arm which does not manufacture but only trades, and that is the trading arm that is wanting to import products that will be regulated as medical devices, then that trading arm will first have to obtain a wholesale license and then make an application for import license. Import license application takes 9 months. Wholesale license application takes 3 months. So that is the sort of preparation that will have to go. If a trading arm which currently does not have wholesale license is intending to import medical devices regulated under Class A or Class B in future. One additional note, CE certification is mandatory when we are importing products from EU. Of course, if the products are sold in EU, it should and it will have CE certification. It's provided it's regulated as a medical device, most likely it will be. So this is something, these are the things that that need to be kept in mind. There are certain requirements such as compliance with quality management system, which is the 5th bullet on this presentation. So the last bullet on the presentation. This is something that perhaps can be reviewed as the preparation begins while making an application for manufacturing license. Right. So we've discussed the implications. I think it's time, because we're discussing licensing a lot, to understand what sort of documentation and what sort of general pre-application requirements exist before a license can be obtained for manufacturing in India. I will not go into a lot of details in the interest of the variety of functions, business functions that are present on this, who are hearing this. So I will not be very, very technical in terms of going into details of what all needs to be submitted, but this slide sort of gives a good overview of what documents will have to be submitted and what is the process that will be followed before a license for sale or distribution will be received. Of course, because we are saying that these products are Class A and Class B, the application will have to be made to state level licensing authorities. That's something that is clear at the moment, and that is how things will have to be planned. One additional thing, which is the last bullet on this slide, there will be a requirement to hire a competent technical staff for quality and testing. So 2 individuals per shift for the products that are manufactured will have to be hired, if not already hired. And when I say competent, these people must have the necessary qualifications which has been prescribed by the law before they can be engaged as competent technical staff. So there is a human resource employment or engagement requirement as well. That's something that is to be kept in mind. For the products that are imported, an application must be made to the central regulator or the DCGI. DCGI reports to the central regulator CDSCO. It's the office that signs all the import licenses. The good bit about the products, if they're coming from the EU, is that there is no requirement to provide additional safety or performance data along with the import license application, which it would have been if it was not coming from one of the developed jurisdictions. So that's something which is an added plus, but the import license typically takes a fairly long time than manufacturing license. So if the planning for manufacturing license and import license needs to be aligned in the way that the timelines that are required to get these licenses are factored in. Both manufacturing licenses and import licenses are valid for perpetuity, which means that you don't have a renewal requirement, but there is a retention requirement. The difference is that in case of renewals, all the documents had to be submitted again. In case of retentions, some documents are to be submitted, not all documents are to be submitted. Okay, so just moving ahead, the third category of license was a license for sale or distribution. Again, all licenses for all categories. This license for class A or class B devices has to be will be received from the state level drug licensing authority. I think the important bit here is that there is no specific license form that has been prescribed for medical devices. There is a specific form for manufacturing. There is a specific form for importing medical devices, but there is no specific form for sale or distribution of medical devices. So the form, and why I say this is because the form that you use to sell or distribute drugs in India is good enough, or is the same form that you distribute medical devices in India. One key thing to note is that while the manufacturing license and import license are actually medical device specific, which means that the name of the device that is covered by those licenses specifically mentioned there, the license for sale or distribution is not device specific. And by that we mean is that today, if you're trading in 5 products, but tomorrow there is a 6th product that you wish to trade in, let me add this, is that the license for sale or distribution, your wholesale or retail license, is not medical device specific. And by that I mean is that there is a common license which is applicable to drugs and medical devices, and any number of medical devices can be traded in using the same license. So if an additional medical device is to be sought to be manufactured or sought to be imported, then a license is required. A corresponding manufacturing or importing license will be required. But if an additional medical device is required to be traded, then an additional license is not going to be required. So the same license will continue. It does not have the list of medical devices covered written on a license for sale or distribution. So it's a more general license that allows you to trade in any medical device that you have. It's something to be kept in mind.